All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Green Bay Packers. Now, guys, this is like the first time since maybe like 2020 where the offseason began for us like a handful of weeks ago. And it just feels so refreshing. You know, everybody in Packers Nation right now is unbelievably exuberant about the future. Like we all are. Joe Barry is not coming back. We have got a defensive coordinator in Jeff Hafley who's going to change everything. We're thinking outside of the box. We're trying new things. We're doing things that in previous seasons, because of Aaron Rodgers, we just were not doing. We were skeptical of doing. You know, we were kind of playing not to lose because you have this Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best QBs ever. And, you know, it just puts a lot of pressure on you organizationally. So we've got Jordan Love's future looks unbelievably bright. We've got a great head coach in Matt LaFleur. We've got so many, like, guys, here's the thing. The ESPN did a redraft for last year's draft class, right? Here are Packers players that went in the first 2 rounds of last year's mock draft. Jaden Reed, Lucas Van Ness, Luke Musgrave, Dontavian Wicks, Carl Brooks, Tucker Kraft. Like, Goot had one of the best drafts I'd ever seen at this point in time. And, you know, a lot of this still remains to be seen. You know, we got to continue to see these guys evolve and get better, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, this is a really good time to be a Green Bay Packers fan. And we're going to talk about the defense specifically and a little bit about the offense in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're posting a Packers video. I'm a cheesehead if you guys can't tell. We're posting Packers content like several times a week, so stay tuned for more. Let's try and get this video to 250 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. So I want to talk about this defense in just a second here, but we have a player and his name's Dontavian Wicks. And there was, you know, like a viral tweet that went out, and it was just kind of looking at some of his routes from his rookie season and comparing it to Davante Adams. And the dude literally looks almost identical to Davante Adams. So Davante Adams at 22 years old in his rookie season, here are his statistics: 38 catches on 66 targets, 446 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 games started. Here are Dontavian Wicks' rookie year stats at 22 years old: 39 catches on 58 targets. That's not like as crazy important. So 39 catches, 581 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns, and only 6 games started. This future is so great. And I gotta say, like, I think the Packers in both free agency and in the draft, as far as offensively goes, I think it's going to be very underwhelming. I forget the term that was coined for it, because we have holes on the offensive line, right? Left tackle David Bakhtiari at this point in his career is looking like a cut candidate, looking like a good trade candidate. We need to continue to build depth and talent at the offensive line because we have our franchise QB in Jordan Love. So it might be an underwhelming offensive draft, offensive free agency because of all those players we just mentioned. Like, I still have Romeo Doubs, I still have Christian Watson, and then I've got all these rookies that just appeared that spawned out of nowhere. And Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, getting deeper, Bo Melton, Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave at the tight end position. So one thing Green Bay does so freaking well is finding, evaluating offensive line talent and turning these dudes into absolute monsters who do their job at an elite level. And that's what I think they're going to do, especially in the first round with our first draft pick this year, is just kind of continue to retool, continue to build that offensive line so that we can protect Jordan Love, which is something we did very well last season. So let's talk a little bit about the defense here. Jeff Hafley comes on over as the defensive coordinator. It's kind of an out-of-the-box move. I think it's so on brand with Green Bay, and I think Green Bay is just like, the way they run their organization top to bottom, it's S tier, man. They are a world-class organization. So Jeff Hafley comes on in here from Boston College as the defensive coordinator. And Quay Walker's one of those players who he's already pretty much a star linebacker in this league. He had a hell of a rookie season. Played all 17 games. He had 121 tackles, which is a little over 7 per game. He had 5 tackles for loss, 4 quarterback hits, 1.5 sacks. But he had those multiple ejections, specifically in that last game against the Detroit Lions, where it was a win-and-you're-in situation. We ended up losing, obviously, and that was the end of Aaron Rodgers' era. But Quay Walker, his rookie season got so overshadowed because of those ejections. And that's stuff that you can't have. Those are things that throw off and blow games away, as we saw specifically in that last game against Detroit. In his second season this past year, he only played 14 games, but he had 118 tackles. That's 8.5 tackles per game. He had 7 tackles for loss. He had 5 quarterback hits. He had 2.5 sacks. He had that pick 6 against the Chicago Bears in week 1. And he had zero, most importantly, 0 ejections. And I look at a guy like Jeff Hafley, and I'm like, Quay Walker is going to be a very good indicator of how Jeff Hafley's scheme and his game plan implements into this league and for our defense. So keep an eye on Quay Walker, because he's already trending towards stardom at the linebacker position. But I think he's a superstar. I think this dude's just a rising superstar. And if Jeff Hafley can unlock that superstar in him, watch out, man. The Green Bay Packers, all things considered, this past season were a top 10 defense, statistically speaking. And I know we have huge holes, specifically with the rush defense. I know we've got a couple of safeties hitting free agency, which I'm kind of glad with, because I want to see what Jeff brings in. Like I said, they do such a good job at evaluating talent. We've got youngsters, guys like Carl Brooks coming out of nowhere, Lucas Van Ness. I've still got Rashawn Gary. I've still got Preston Smith, Kenny Clark. The list goes on and on. So if this Packers defense, if Hafley can get this defense to closer to top 5 than closer to top 10, we're going to have a number of conference championship appearances and hopefully a number of Super Bowl appearances. And I also love the team that he's building, picking up defensive pass coordinator Derek Ansley from the Los Angeles Rams. And there was kind of a 6-minute little video from, I believe it was training camp or mini camp or whatever it was. And he had this quote here, and it was, "Do it with some damn violence." And it's just they're experimenting right now. All of their new defensive coaches have both experience in college and in the NFL. And, we talk about this on the channel a lot. It's with the rules, with the new NFL rules, it is kind of BS, because, defensive players are penalized and punished for all of these, player safety rules. But you don't see too much in today's football era of these hard hitters. These guys that want to rip your head off. I don't need any of this PC bull jive. I want dudes on my defense who will literally rip your neck off. That's what I want. And that's what I see with all these new defensive coaches. That's what I see with guys on our team like Quay Walker. And so, Packers fans, I think, would agree with this. We've been missing something defensively in the last couple of years, even though on paper we're so freaking loaded. And I think that's exactly what Jeff and his new team are going to bring, this edge, this tenacity, this vitality to the defensive side. And it has me so freaking excited. So it's February 8th. We haven't even gotten to the Super Bowl. The offseason technically just began. We're still a ways away from the draft. And I just can't wait for the Packers' future. And I know you guys can't either. So hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that sub button. But guys, give me some thoughts on this Green Bay Packers team heading into the offseason. Peace.